So welcome back to Christian and Crystal. We appreciate you guys um, chiming back in. We are joined by our good friend, um, community activist, influencer, and our brother in Christ, Panchito. Thank you so much for being here, brother. We really do appreciate it. This is actually the first time we've done it on Zoom. We were using a different host platform that we were having some technical difficulties with. So, but it's all good. This is all trial and error. We're navigating through this. So we just want to make sure that we're jumping on some of these conversations with um, influential people in our community who are really doing some positive work that brings the community together. And so there's really nobody better at doing that than my friend Panchito here. So we appreciate you, man. We were just talking about your AV run with Faith, and you said the first time that you guys did it, you had like 80 people.
So yeah, like the first time that when we first started this project, right? It was like two of us, and then four of us, and then fast forward to today, we're actually between 6 to 80 people per day. So we run Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 a.m., and then once a month we run on a Saturday at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
Right? But what amazes me, bro, is like the fact that more than between 6 to 8 people wake up super early to go to that space just to be in community,
Yeah,
right? And
for
run.
sure.
Um, and like, yes, we are quote unquote a running club, but everyone's welcome, bro. There's folks that walk. There's
Yeah.
folks that are walking jog, right? There's folks like me
Yeah.
who are preparing for a race.
Yeah.
So literally everyone's welcome. In fact, my mother, she's trying to go now and she enjoys it. And she lives in Los Angeles. So she makes a drive, bro, those 30
Oh, just to
minutes
make well. So
just to
you're
go out, bro.
dude. So you're telling me no excuses. I need to get there.
Yeah, that's good.
That's what you're telling me.
Like, you can do it.
You said no excuses. I heard pets were going. People are taking their dogs, right?
Bro, literally everyone's welcome. They take the
That's so
dogs.
yeah.
Uh, we have like grandparents, bro. We have mothers. We have teenagers.
So
Literally everyone's welcome. At the end of the day, like it's just a safe space, bro, and a space where you can feel comfortable.
yeah.
A lot of people go because they they um they like the accountability aspect of it. I was talking to a new member, and I was like, "What made you come into this club? What do you club?" And she said, "Well, son," because she was like an older age. She's like, "Son, like, if I were to wake up at 1 in the morning and walk by myself, I wouldn't do it."
Uh
I told myself that, bro, if I come here at 6 in the morning, I have to go. I have
yeah.
to, you know.
Yeah,
So
for sure. That's
being that
awesome.
positive change, bro, in the community is
I love it. Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, you're doing that, and you're doing that in so many ways. And yeah, no, Kimmy was telling me, I was telling her, I was like, man, I just haven't made it there yet. And she was like, not everybody runs. It's okay to walk. Like, and I was like, oh, that's good. She was like, I try to show that more so like more people, can join us, but it just sounds like a really, really good community, a growing one. And I mean, I'm seeing it on social media, man, and I think that's super cool. But that's just one of the, many ways that you're really making a positive impact for the community. But just for anybody who's watching, maybe if you can just share a little bit about your journey and maybe how you got started um really deciding and having a passion for influencing the community in a positive way.
yeah, bro. You also have when I was a little kid, right? I was born in San Fernando Valley, but I moved out here to Central Valley when I was 9 years old to Lake Los Angeles, right?
Yeah.
Um, but my parents, they're from a small little state in Mexico called Colima, Mexico. Both of them are from there. They are teen parents. They both have my twin sisters when they were 15 years old. And they had me when they were 18. And then my other brothers when they were 21 and 30. But my parents, the highest level of education was middle school. That's it. Right. So we were the first one to graduate from high school and college. But when I was growing up, I was really good in soccer. My dad always told me, son, like don't get cocky, put in the work.
Yeah.
People might say these things, but don't let it get to your head. Move it on the field. And then he would also told me, look, son, a lot of people look up to you. Be by example, on and off the field. And he also instilled me the importance of my education and giving back to the community because my dad he gave so much with so little.
Yeah.
My dad's a giver. He always gives, and I saw it because every time I would go to family parties, right, or friends' parties, they would take care of him, and they would, tell me stories of how like supportive my dad was to them and how much they appreciate his friendship and all that stuff. So I got that from my father,
Love
right?
it.
And then fast forward to college, I graduated from Little Rock High School, right? I ended up going to UC Riverside. I was the first one from Little Rock High School to play Division I soccer, but I didn't want to be the last one.
Yeah.
So during that journey, um, I had a class. I was a sociology major, and we were talking about issues that were going on in like low income communities. And so I raised my hand and I told my professor, "Hey, like, so we are out here seeing all these theories and putting names to issues that go on in the communities, but what are we doing to solve those issues?"
Yeah.
And he's like, and he turned that question back to me, and he said, "What are you going to do?" So I was like, "That's a
Yeah.
good question. Give me a week, and I'll come
Yeah.
back, and I'll tell you what I'm going to do." So I went to the drawing board. To the drawing board, bro, in my room, and I created my own nonprofit. It's called the Junior Soccer Foundation. Back then, it was known as the Junior Soccer Clinic, and I just wanted to create free soccer clinics for my community, and through that, engage parents and the kids. Right. So the clinics were for the kids, the workshops were for the parents to teach them the process, get to college, and how to properly support their students, or in this case, right, the athletes. So we did that, and I would connect with my friends who are playing professional soccer or who are playing college soccer. We called them the AV legends, right? So when they would come back in December, host a clinic, mentor the kids, right? Guide them, give them suggestions, mentorship, and then we will conclude by just having a meet and greet and Q&A between the families, kids, and the players. It was a time when players can ask, the kids and participants can ask questions to our AV legends and the parents too. And that was really a powerful way. In fact, one of my students from those clinics, I made his debut with AV Alta this past weekend on Saturday. I've been on the kid since he was 7 years old. And I mentored him and took him under my wing, and he had supportive family members, right? And it was a seeing him make his debut in AV Alta brought me a flashback of all my sacrifices, bro, because there's nights where, I had to leave my hometown. I left AV, to pursue my dreams, bro. But I always say this quote: "It's important to dream beyond the desert, but come back and serve the desert."
Mm.
Right? It's really important. So I always knew I was gonna come back. It would just matter of when,
Yeah.
and for that I trusted God and His timing.
Love it.
But to the dreamers, bro, like, man, I sacrificed so much. I would get my scholarship money that I had from my education and invest it into a nonprofit, right? To pay for the expenses like soccer equipment, right? Workshops, getting the guest speakers, pay for the insurances. I would take out student loans to help me fund my nonprofit, right? I would spend a lot of like holidays too, back in my dorm or in the library trying to work on my projects and the dreamers because I believed in it. And at one point, bro, like I thought to myself, I was like, okay, am I doing enough for my community?
Mm.
I said, "I worth it. Are they even valuing it? Valuing the things that I'm doing for them?" Right. So seeing that guy at the Diambia Franco debut on this Saturday made me realize there's I worth it, bro.
That's
And only my family knows like what I've been through. But it's like I know it's a great feeling knowing that that kid who I supported, right? I was just small support system, right? 'Cause it takes a village to make something great, right? Um, I made a small contribution for his success, but the fact that I was there through his journey, man, it felt special.
I love that. That's so cool, man.
You did mention a bit how your husband was.
Man, I always put God first. Without him, I wouldn't be where I am today. Right? And that's just a fact. I believed in myself and I always believed in God and I always knew that God had me. There's this saying that I say in Spanish, Dios contigo, que contra ti, God with you, who against you.
Yep.
And I truly believe that when God put things into my mind, it's because He knows I'm the perfect individual to go and execute them. Right. And at the end of the day, it's not about me. It's about glorifying God, and God using me to impact the community. And I'm just a servant. Right? God wants us to serve, and God wants us to give Him the glory, not us. So I don't like taking that credit. You know, I always give it to God, because at the end of the day, like, I know that He's using me to make an impact in my community.
I love that. I love that, man. That's so inspiring and so true. And so true. One of my favorite prayers I like to say in the morning is God, show me you in the day, and put the right people in front of me. But then you have to look for those things, you know, you have to look. And I think that sometimes, you know, too many of us, we pray, but then we don't actively look for those blessings. And so, and I've been at fault for that too, you know, like, and blessings were coming and God was answering prayers, and I wasn't seeing it. And so I always like to emphasize, like, you know, when I say, show me you in the day and put the right people in front of me so that we can serve each other, I then go look for it. You know, I actively look, and then when it happens, I'm like, okay, you know, this is what I prayed for, you know. Um and then a lot of times, you know, and again, myself, I've felt to this as well, but sometimes we I always tell people not to, we can't complain about the things that we prayed for, you know. And so sometimes if it gets a little challenging, or you know, now there's a lot of people that we have influence of, or we have a lot of people we have to lead. You know, you got more family, you got more friends, like, you're serving more people, and it sometimes gets overwhelming. um I like to remind myself, like, I prayed for this, you know. I'm not going to complain about the things that I prayed for. A matter of fact, I'm going to pray for more, you know. So, but definitely, man, that's so inspiring, and you do that so well, you know, serving. Um, just every time I see you or hear about you or talk to you, like, it's just always, you're always serving, you know. And so that's um just so super inspiring, and you know, you're a blessing, man. So
Likewise,
appreciate you.
bro. Even when we went to the coffee shop to get some coffee, bro, and first just connected more, you know, in depth and personal. You two, both of you have an amazing story, you know, and I got to know you more, Christian. It's amazing what God has done in your life as well, and the transformation that He has done in you. Or like we were talking about it, right? We have a choice,
Yep.
and we don't have to let our past determine our future.
No.
We decide on our own, right?
Yeah.
And we decide what we want to do based on our actions and our habits. Like, we determine, like, the approach and the trajectory of our life. Yes, God has the final say, right?
Yeah.
But it's we also have the free will to choose right from wrong.
Yeah. Going back maybe to soccer, what inspired your passion for soccer? Just playing it as a kid, and just younger, just playing.
Yeah, bro. Fun fact. So people don't believe this, man. I was really um I wasn't a rebel, but I wasn't a good student growing up.
Oh, okay.
Right. I would misbehave a lot. Um in kindergarten, and I got suspended a couple times where I got in trouble. And I just love to run. I was a kid full of energy. So then my educators were like, well, they told my parents, hey, you have to do something about this kid. Like, they tell me. So and also I was into like bull riding. Right? I
Oh,
was more into the culture. I used to wear my cowboy hat, my boots, bro. And I used to like pretend I was bull riding in the sofas, the couches. My dad used to take me to, like, you know, the bull, like when there's bull riding events, he would take me to those events. And I was a little kid. When he would go to, like, the ranch, I would ride the it's called becerritos, right? The baby bulls, because I don't know how you say it in English. And they will give me money to ride them. And if I would stay on it for more than 5 seconds, I'll get $10. So I would do it for fun.
man, do you got videos of this?
Right? So it was dope. And so my parents thought, you know what, it's just too dangerous. We have to put him in soccer. They put me in soccer the first day there. My dad told me, I thought you were going to hate soccer, because when I took you to a team, there's a puddle. And you were running, you pass by the puddle, you turn around, and you jump into the puddle. And then you would just there messing around with the puddle, and so I was like, this kid's not gonna like soccer. But somehow, I stick to it, and it transformed me, bro. It made me who I am. Through soccer, I traveled the country. Through soccer, I met people from all over the world. Uh, Through soccer, right, I was able to make lifelong friendships and relationships. It molded me, made me who I am. Because a lot of people who are from the community know my journey, and they seen it. And this is why, they look up to me, because I never gave up on my dreams. Despite adversity, despite sacrificing so much, despite being the first one from Lake Los Angeles to play Division I soccer, right? Like, I never gave up. I could have, because my doctors told me. So I got injured my last year of high school, where I broke my leg in 3. I fractured my fibula, I dislocated my ankle, and I tore my ligaments.
Wow.
And my doctor told me, hey, you won't be able to play soccer again. And forget about playing soccer. Like, if you could walk, it'll be a miracle. But I had so much faith in myself and in God. And I told myself, God has the last say, not you. So I worked on, like, mentally, right? I read books about mental toughness. And I trusted the recovery process. And I was out of the field for 2 years. But somehow I didn't give up, and I played Division I soccer, right? But it wasn't easy either, because thankfully UC Riverside gave me an opportunity to play for the program. But my whole freshman year, quote unquote, I was like the water boy, right? I was in a scholarship because I was injured. So the deal was, you could come to rehab with us, and once you get better, you can try out for the team. First year, I was doing rehab, waking up at 6 in the morning to do rehab. 7 in the morning, I had to wash the balls, set up the waters right for my teammates, and watch them practice. And then my sophomore year, when I thought I was already fit and ready to make the team and get rostered and make my dream come true, I got cut from the team. Wow. But here's the crazy part, bro. And Crystal, I got cut on August 13th, which is my father's birthday. And I remember that I told him, for your birthday present, I'm going to call you and tell you that I made the team. And so fortunately, like, I had to call him and give him the bad news. But as that happened, the coaches that gave me a call, said, hey, Panchito, please come to the office. I went to the office, sat down, looked in the eyes, and they were like, Panchito, fortunately, we as a coaching staff, we think that you're not at the level that we want you to be part of this team. So we have to let you go. And I looked him in the eyes, and I said, Coach, I'm not a quitter. Give me one more opportunity, and I'm going to prove to you that I belong in this team. And I have the talent to play in this team. So it was the first time someone told me that. and so he allowed me to be part of the team and still train with the team. So for the whole sophomore year, I was, quote unquote, the redshirt. I wasn't rostered, but I was training with the team. And it wasn't until my 3rd year where I finally got rostered, and I made my dream come true playing Division I soccer. Right.
Wow.
So that's kind of like my soccer journey. And then I found this mentor that told me, Panchito, soccer brought you here, but is soccer taking you where you want to go next? And I was like, wow, that's deep. I don't think it is. But my whole growing up, my identity was soccer. When people from back home, here in the AV, when they was mentioned Panchito, oh yeah, the soccer kid, the guy played for Riverside, or the kid from Lake Los Angeles from Rock.
Yeah.
Right. So my identity was in soccer. So it was hard for me to remove that identity and focus in my education, in my career. But when I made that decision, I never looked back, because I made that decision based on faith. Based on, like, the pros and cons. I truly analyzed it. I said, all right, God, do you want me to stick with soccer, or should I move on? So I didn't make my decision based from my heart, from my emotion. I made it based on my mind, right? Based on the evidence. Okay, is soccer going to take me where I see myself next, or is my education, my career is? And so I left soccer, and I stopped playing competitive soccer, and I focused on my professional development. And to that, I moved to DC, and I interned, out there in Washington DC. I was out there for like 8 months. I was blessed to be inside the White House, and talks to the former president, Joe Biden. I was really involved out there in Washington D.C. It was a great opportunity for me to expose myself to like politics and the nonprofit world. It was amazing. Then I came back to California and I interned for Department of Education, and I was there for another 4 months. And it exposed me to another world, right? Like the policies and how like this school districts and departments work and all that stuff. And then I came back to and my final year at UC Riverside. And to that journey, I wanted to apply to the best programs in education for grad school. And I applied to Harvard, Columbia, UPenn, and Michigan. And I ended up going to Michigan because they gave me a full ride. They paid for my education, they paid for my housing, and they gave me a living stipend, so that would work. And this is all God's work because Michigan wasn't in my list. It was UCLA. Because I was applying for UCLA, and ad popped up, a Michigan ad. So I was like, what is this? And I looked into it, and there's this ambassador that was Latina. And I was like, oh, she looks like me. Let me ask her questions, right? Because Michigan is predominantly white institution.
Yeah.
So I wanted to know if like there's resources for people like me, right? So I asked her a lot of questions, and she was like, dude, based on what I'm hearing, if you apply, you'll get it for right. Because I had a lot of experience now.
Yeah.
Athlete, right? I went to Michigan. I went to DC. I went to, I interned for the Department of Education. So I had a good resume. So yeah, I applied. And I ended up going to Michigan and living there for 3 years. And then doing that journey, I was like, all right, God, it's time for me to go back home. Like, give me signals. And he did. So I dropped everything that I had in Michigan. And I lived a comfortable life out there. I was comfortable. I enjoyed my time out there. I was at peace. And sometimes I miss it.
Yeah.
But I needed to come back to California, right? So I quit my job. And I came back with my savings. I moved back to my parents' household in Lake Los Angeles with nothing, but with so many dreams.
Yeah.
And I'm going to come back and I'm going to focus on my nonprofit. I'm going to apply to grants, right? And I'm going to make an impact in the AV. And then 3 months later, that's when I met John Smelser, the founder owner of AV Alta FC. He, through members of the community who mentioned my name, John found out about me. John gave me a call, said, hey, can we meet at a restaurant? I have something to discuss with you. So then we met and he told me, hey, I want to start a professional soccer team. And this is my thing. Like, what do you think? And I was like, dude, it's in my vision board. I wrote on my vision board, start a professional soccer team. But I'm a firm believer that, sometimes in life, you can't do things alone.
Yeah.
I knew God sent me John. And I know God sent me to John so we can work together to start this project, right? So then I told John, look, if you want to start this project, you have to do it right. We have to connect and meet the community where they are at. So we went and we met people in Lake Los Angeles. We met people in California City, in Rosemont, Mojave, Lancaster, Palmdale, right? We met with every single high school soccer coach, with every single club president. And we asked them questions. And to those questions, they gave us our mission. They said, we just want civic pride for our residents and more opportunities for our youth. And that became our mission. And then I met Juan Carrillo when he was doing an award ceremony for Little Rock High School. And I approached him and I said, Juan, I'm part of this project and I would love for you to be part of it. Because I knew that Juan Carrillo had this, applied for this grant to fund the Yellen Park. And to that grant, right, that they were going to do like soccer fields and all that stuff. So I was like, I told John, our professional team is playing in Lancaster, the stadium. But I think our academy should play in Palmdale, right? And Palmdale has some funding that they could support us. So then, we set up those meetings and John took the initiative on reaching out, attend those meetings. And now we have our two local cities supporting one team, right? And we, through soccer, unified the cities, right? Lancaster supporting us with the stadium and the professional team, but also Palma supporting our academy, right? And providing us the facilities. And right now we have 5 academy players training with the first team. Right. So it's a blessing how life works, right?
Yeah.
There's this quote that I live by. Steve Jobs said it during a graduation speech. I think it was a Stanford. He said you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. And when you take the time to reflect, you understand why things play out the way they did. Right? So it made so much sense in my life. Like looking back, now I realize why I went through everything that I went through, because it was preparing me to be where I am today. If that makes sense.
Yes.
No, makes perfect sense, man. There's so much I got from your story, but just how often you were being redirected, I thought was really funny, but also that you asked God to direct you, and you made sure that every transition in your life that he was taking you there and you were going there with him, which I think was pretty phenomenal. But also the mental toughness it takes to go through the being injured and then, you know, fighting to be on that team and not playing for the 2 years, like the mental toughness. So few things. I mean, I really think, like, I always say half the battle is won or lost in your mind. And so that mental toughness that you have, you mentioned books. You mentioned that you read a lot of books. Do you have any that you recommend?
Yes, I have Mind Gym. That's a simple book that I read that in high school. My last year of high school when I was going through my injury. The 5 a.m. Club. That's an amazing book. Also, Originals, How Nonconformists Transform the World, I think, by Adam Grant. That book too made me realize that I am a nonconformist. Like I love to just, as for me, it eases my mind. And like, I like going the non-traditional route, right? Like I love creating projects. I love seeing like how the process from beginning to end.
Yeah.
I don't like being like stuck in a 9 to 5 job,
Right.
in an office. Or like that limits me from ideas and from like
from creating
back to the world.
Yeah,
that makes
for sure. From creating and serving. And man, just I just thought of my favorite scripture through that whole story that you were explaining, but just how many times you were being redirected, and it's Jeremiah 29:11. And for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you, not to harm you. And so plans to give you hope in the future. And I always say that the things that happen to us, they're not designed to stop us. They're designed to reposition us so we can come into contact with God's plan. And so the fact that you were able to see that through every transition, I think is something we all need to practice. and for the rest of our lives, because it's going to continue to happen. You know, we're always going to be redirected. We're always going to have some sort of plan or way we want it to go, and we're going to hit some roadblocks, and we're going to be redirected and repositioned, and we just have to remember that it's God that's redirecting us, you know. And sometimes that's we don't always agree with that redirecting, or we're like, no, that wasn't the plan, that's not my goal, that's, you know, we try to fight it. And so the fact that you were able to just identify and kind of let go and let God was really inspiring through your story. How every time you were just like, all right, where are we going next? You know, like, okay, what's the plan, God? Like, all right, cool. You know, where am I? Tell me what to do. You know, like, we need to let go and let God more, and just let him take us, you know? So that's what I loved about what you shared.
Bro, yes, because that's what makes me peace.
Yeah.
Knowing who's in control. Right? We have to control the controllables.
Yeah.
There's so many things we can't control.
Yeah.
Sometimes that gets stress.
Yeah.
Right? Like when I was in college, I wanted to control so many things. And I realized that, like, I read the book The Alchemist, right? And it puts me into perspective. Like, it's important to enjoy the journey, not the destination, right? Like, in my mind, I wanted to get my PhD. I wanted to be a professor. So I was doing the steps to achieve that goal, right? And as an undergrad, I was taking like grad level courses, right? I would like go to conferences with professors. They would take me with them to conferences to make net connections, right? In academia. So like I connect with these people so they could get me as an so they could be my advisors for my PhD. And like I was well connected in that area because in my mind I'm like, all right, I go to Michigan for 1 year and then get my PhD at UCLA, USC, Harvard, or Michigan. And I did have those offers, right? But one of my mentors at Michigan told me, Panchito, like, I don't have academics for you. You won't be happy there. Like, you love to be in the community. You're someone who's innovative. And like, professors are more like theory based. And they are, to an extent, disconnected from the real world and from society. And I feel like that's something that you enjoy. So think about it. And I did. And I told myself, you know what? I'm going to just not accept these offers and just focus on working, and pursue my passions. And again, like redirecting me, right? Like God has redirected me so many times.
Yeah.
That at this point, like I trust him.
Yeah.
And I know that at the end of the day, I'm going to be okay.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, that was every transition you were like being redirected and you're like, and I'm like, dang, this guy. And then how the pop-up with the Michigan, I was like, dang, that was God. And he was like, yeah, no, you're like UCLA. He's like, no, Michigan.
Right?
That's crazy, man. That's pretty dope. So so what are some of your next goals? Maybe with the soccer team and the impact on the community. What's next?
Man, AB Alta has done a great job with the community. We had a great front office who has done a phenomenal job in connecting with the community. We have a great coaching staff. We have great players. That everyone is playing the role. Like literally everyone, from the president to the players, even to our volunteers, I'll say. Like everyone's playing the role in our ambassadors, which is our fans.
Yeah.
When they go out and they have a great experience, right? Then they go back to the community and tell the community members, hey, man, you come out to an Aviata game.
Yeah.
So our success is tremendously driven by the performance of our team, but also our fan base, our community. They're buying it because without them, there's no team, right? So for us, we want to make sure when they come to our games, they have an experience from beginning to end. If kids go to a game, that they could, get an autograph from our players after the game. Yeah. If young adults go to a game and they're over 21, they can stay after and party, hang out with their buddies.
Yeah.
So that's our purpose with FBI. I want to create civic pride back to the AD and be a platform where we can provide more opportunities to our youth through our academy. So then go ahead and play for our first team, right? And that's the goals that we have for FBI. That we want to stay here long term. We want to create an identity. We want this team to be the team of the Antelope Valley, right? And be like, we want everyone who's a resident here, kind of like Michigan football. When I went out there, right, people they were born into Michigan football. If you're from Michigan, most likely you either a Wolverine, right, or a Michigan State. I don't even know what they mascot is, but because they are rivals. Yeah. But they're born into a nice solid culture. And now, wow, that could also be adapted into the AV, but in a smaller scale, right? Where every game day, it's a party, it's a buy, people go there, and they just have so much pride for the team. So that's kind of our goal with AV Alta. I said for me, I'm the current head of partnerships with AV Alta. I have so many projects in mind as well, and I share some with you already, Christian. Yep. And I'm going to fulfill them, right? It's at the end of the day, like God brought me to this world to serve and to give back. And I know He's not going to leave me or forsake me, because He's, at the end, they're like, I truly believe that He's using me to make an impact, and I'm just, like I told God, I learned that it's your way, not my way. Yeah. So I trust you. I have all these things in mind, I have all these goals and projects in mind, but they're meant to be, you're sending the right people. Yep. Right? So that's the intention of looking for them. And if it's not meant to be, then it won't happen, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of like my philosophy of life now, Christian. Like it changed a lot. I'm a go-getter. I'm really missionary level dream big because I believe in those things, right? But I also know that if I fail, maybe it wasn't meant to be. Or maybe if I fail, it's because God wants me to realize that it's just an obstacle that I have to overcome. Like when I got injured, right, and
Yeah.
played Division I soccer.
What is some advice that you would give to youth in the community that kind of have that same vision and want to give back to their community?
So also, what's an advice that I want to give to individuals that want to give back to the community?
Yeah, like youth that have like that vision, but maybe they just don't know where to start, or they're not exactly sure. Kind of, their vision might be too big right now. Like, what are the steps to kind of get there? Like you said, like
That's a great question, and first of all, I'm a firm believer in creating a roadmap. Okay, this is what you want. What are the steps that you need to take to achieve that goal? Right. 2, ask for feedback, ask for help. Like for example, me and Christian, we went to get lunch and I told him kind of like what my vision was when the current project I'm working on. And he we discussed things and it's a resource. But that's because I voiced it out, right? I told him what I want to do. So don't be, if you have a vision, if you have a project you're working on, don't be afraid to share with others. But like Christian said, look for that. Look for people that you think are going to support you. Look for people that you want to learn from. Ask them questions. Most often, people want to help out. People want to be a resource, right? And so you shouldn't be afraid of like being rejected or asking for help, right? Or asking for feedback, especially if you believe in yourself and in your project. So that's my advice for people, for kids, for entrepreneurs just getting started. Like, don't accept no for an answer, but also when one door closes, another one opens. And the entrepreneurship journey, sometimes it's going to be lonely. And sometimes you might have more lows than highs. So when you have a high, enjoy it. Celebrate it. Right? But trust yourself and trust the process. But also, it's not just about trusting the process. It's about having a roadmap, right? Be intentional along the process.
Love that.
I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
What made you guys want to start this? I know you also all about the community. I see that seminars that you guys do as well, real estate, trying to inform people about how to invest in real estate, which is really important.
Yes.
But what made you start this podcast? That's the first question. And 2, what's your ultimate goal as a couple? Because I consider you guys as a power couple. Y'all do things together.
Yeah.
We go to the same church. Y'all also really invest in the community. Y'all went to the workshop that I hosted earlier this year with Beyond Excellence.
Yeah.
So y'all also really involved.
Yes. Yeah. For sure. We have similar to you, we have a lot of goals, and a lot of ways that we want to make sure we're serving the community. But we'll start with how I guess we got into real estate was we actually met in financial services where we both used to work. But I think that what really attracted us to each other is a lot of the same values that we shared, which was our faith, you wanting to serve and wanting to be that generational change for our families. And so we didn't come from families with a lot of money. We didn't come from we struggled. We went to for I think for both of us, all 12 years were 12 different schools. I remember being evicted all the time. And so one of the things that we shared was that we really wanted to be that cycle, break the cycle in our families. And so we ended up meeting in financial services and realized that we kind of shared that same goal of wanting to serve the underserved community through financial services. And so we were doing that for a while. And then we also branched into some other careers as well. But we came to where God guided us, which was real estate, and that's where we're at now. And so we are using real estate as that tool to also serve the community and educate whoever it might be, our family, our friends, about how real estate works, but also tying that into
and encourage people that it's possible to own a home, to invest, to have generational wealth, especially in this climate where a lot of people feel discouraged in that aspect. So just like giving them the knowledge and resources. Knowledge is power, so it gives opportunities. So I think that's definitely something that we both really believe in and through.
For sure. And so that is kind of how we were guided, and God led us to our current business, which is real estate. The podcast was this is more of a hobby for us, right? But we're also serving through our podcast. So there's actually a goal here. And so I firmly believe that we have the Antelope Valley, I think, has one of the best communities. I think it's a beautiful place, despite what AV Scanner says. I think that we live in a beautiful place, and I think that we have phenomenal people here who are serving the community. And so we came up with the idea of why don't we start a podcast? And we literally started this podcast just talking to each other because we didn't have anybody to interview but ourselves. So we just start. I was like, we just do things, I'm just like, hey, like, let's just start something. So we started a podcast. I think we had like a green screen at first, and that wasn't working. And like I said in the beginning, like, we're just kind of learning through this whole thing. This is the first one on Zoom. The other site wasn't working. It doesn't matter. Like I said in the beginning, it's about the conversations we're having, and it's about people coming together to serve the community. And so we have phenomenal people here in the Antelope Valley who are doing phenomenal things, and we want to share that. And so that's what this podcast is about. And so we get to jump on podcasts with Panchito, and a couple weeks ago it was Eric, community engagement coordinator. Tomorrow it's Frida and Jose. I think next month it's Tony from Baracoa. And so there's
all amazing people. They're
just all amazing people,
Yeah.
like all amazing people who are doing phenomenal things in the community. And so I have this this competitive goal of mine where I want to showcase the Antelope Valley better than AV Scanner does. So but I feel like collectively as a community we could do that. And we live in a beautiful place, and I am very passionate about that. I love this place, and I want to create a space where we can all come together and discuss the amazing things that we're doing, and other people can come to one place, Christian and Crystal podcast, and meet and learn about all these amazing people doing God's work in the Antelope Valley. That's why we have this podcast.
God's word. Amen to that. But I appreciate you for allowing us to have this space to share our thoughts, our wisdom, and our knowledge, right? Just like you said, knowledge is power, especially when we come from nothing. It's like you could be left with nothing, but if you have knowledge, right, you'll be okay because you're gonna know how to survive. You need a survival skills, but also the knowledge to make things work. And my dad always told me, son, like at the end of the day, like, don't let people tell you that you can't. Yeah, use this, right? If someone that tries to attack you, or it's racist towards you, don't fight back. Use this. Yeah, and I that stuck with me, and that's why, like, I didn't encounter microaggressions when I was in Michigan. People thought I was, working, you know, in the bars or working in the kitchen, because that's where a lot of Latinos work at, right? And when I told them that I was on mission for school, they didn't believe me. Well, they thought I was uh, uh, um uh what's it called, Arabic, right? Because a big Arab community out there in Michigan, and so I thought I was that. Uh, and it's like they never thought I was Latino. So when that was like, take pride, right? Humble yourself, and but also be grateful for opportunities that this country has to offer you. Don't take it for granted, you know. And I didn't, and I haven't. I'm grateful. For me, I take so much pride of being Latino, right? First gen, but also take pride of being born here in the United States and the opportunities that allowed me and my siblings to have, right? So I'm blessed to be born in this country. I acknowledge it's a privilege as well, because this country gives us so many opportunities. But guess what? Unfortunately, a lot of people don't take advantage of these opportunities,
100%.
right? Um, or sometimes, you know, they just have these different perspectives. So it's up to us to share that knowledge upon others.
Yes.
Yeah, that's all we do. So again, thank you for allowing me to be in this space.
Of course.
I learned so much from just this interaction right now, from just talking, Crystal, and patient. So man, like we said, we love the AV.
We do.
Want to get
We love the AV, man.
No, we want
It's
to. It's some, like you said, it's just, it's a big community, but also small community to an extent. It's so big, but it's so small.
Yeah.
Because once you're involved, you'll see other people who are involved.
Yep. And you see all the same people, you know, it's like,
Yeah.
hey, what's up? Like, you just everywhere. It's all the same, you know, people, but it's on us, you know, to make sure that we involve more people and let's get new faces, and especially that next generation, you know, like they have to see that we're doing these things and we're being led by our faith and we're being involved in the community. And, you know, we have our daughters who watch what we do. And so, if you want to really break generational cycles, you got to lead by example. You know, it's not just by just telling them, you know, they're watching us. Like they're not gonna listen to what we say. They're going to watch and duplicate what we do. And so, just doing it. That's what, you know, like I said, like we just do things. You know, we start the business, we start the podcast, we start engaging in the community, we start meeting friends, and we just do things, you know, and similar to you, we just let God lead us and let go and let God. So yeah.
God will think against you, right? And always do things that I love without expecting anything in return.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that's when more blessings comes your way. When you, like for me, like I do things out of love, and I don't expect anything in return. I just do it because I care about people, care about community, right?
For sure.
Like I'm not gonna hold them accountable for things they do. I do them without expecting anything in return.
Exactly.
You know, and this is why I love to mentor kids in this community. Like I don't expect them to owe me anything. The only thing that I say is give it back.
Yeah.
You know, like once you're in my shoes, mentor others and give back. You know,
Pay it
you can
forward.
still give back and not in the community. You could give back by mentorship, right? By, you know, helping our nonprofits, our local here, this community, right? So many ways of giving back and serving the community.
100%. And it's just a matter of just starting to do it. Go meet some people, get out there. There's so many things, and then just knowing where to start too. But that's where we get to share it, you know, on just wherever we can. A lot of things we share on just social media, and yeah, just start doing
Are
it.
there any important like projects, workshops, events that you guys are hosting?
Yeah, actually, we are doing another real estate workshop. So the past few we've done were smaller, more about team building, because we didn't have a team out here at all for our a team of investors that we have now. And you weren't a part of the Keller Williams brokerage yet. So we really, starting out, we didn't have much of a real estate team out here. So some of the workshops that I shared on social media were more of a team building, like trying to create a team out here of more real estate enthusiasts to go out and serve and teach the community, not just about, you know, real estate, but just financial services in general, and just really getting the knowledge out there. So now we have that team. And so one of our partners He just messaged me. He's like, hey, we really need to do another workshop, but now we need to get the community involved. And I'm like, all right, like this is the goal. The goal was to first get the team. And now, yeah, we need to get the whole community involved, and we need to get, anybody who wants to come out and learn about what we're doing, or one of my partners specifically said about creative finance and how that's used to help families, and so it's one of my favorite pieces of real estate knowledge and tools that I have is the creative finance aspect of real estate, aside from the traditional. We could do both.
Yeah.
There's more options. And so one of my favorite stories is one of our partners, Kevin. He was able to help a family who couldn't afford, or not afford, they could afford it, but they couldn't traditionally. No banks were backing them. They weren't going to be getting any loans. Traditionally, they were not going to be able to acquire a home and purchase a home the traditional way. But what they did have was the funds, the proof of funds. And what he was able to successfully do was find them a deal where they were able to creatively acquire a property without using traditional funds and own it. And so there's all sorts of ways you can do that. You can purchase homes subject to the mortgage. We teach landlords how to go from landlord to lender, and so that's another way. So like in that specific circumstance, it was a seller finance. It was a landlord turned into lender, who created their own terms, and then somebody who can't afford a home in a traditional way can work through that landlord who has their own terms, and now they get that home, and it's theirs. The deed gets transferred over to them, and they're the owners of that house. And the landlord also everybody wins, so there's these ways. And I love that story because it was the family was just a traditional Hispanic family, who was just hardworking. They had the funds, but just traditionally they couldn't do it. And so just think about how many more families we can serve and give the opportunity to achieve this American dream of owning a home and owning a business and all these things, if we could just teach them just some of these tools about creative finance and financial services, and just that there's other ways to do this. And so that's what we're doing. That's our goal through our real estate business. But we have a team now, and so that was a very long-winded answer to what the next projects are. But but anyways, we're gonna be having a workshop soon. And our team's gonna be there. The more the community we want to get involved, so we'll make sure that we're blasting that all over social media too. So right now we're looking at a few different spots that we want to choose from, because we also want to try to support other businesses too. So if we can host these workshops in other businesses, they can get some more clients and more exposure through that as well. So we're trying to figure those things out as well, because I have my hotels, but everybody knows the hotels are there. It's not really supporting any of our local businesses. So if we can find some local businesses to host some of these workshops and events, I think that would be more of service to them. So the next one is the real estate workshop, and coming soon. Yeah, I think in August, so coming very soon. I think that's about the only workshop, right?
Yeah, right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, man, you guys are also doing a lot of amazing things as well,
Yeah.
with your own niche. And I feel like that's what's needed, right? We are working on our own little niches, right? But then we all come together and collaborate and exchange ideas, and share what's happening in our world and how can we support each other.
Yeah, and that's how it's supposed to work. That's why God gave us all different gifts. Like, we're not supposed to all be the same or do the same thing or serve the same. We're not all supposed to do that. We're all good at different things for a reason. Like, it's because we're supposed to lock arms and get to work and serve. Like, that's what we're supposed to do. We're all supposed to do our part. So for sure, absolutely.
But I want to give a shout out to Jose and Fida. They're also my good friends.
Yeah. For sure.
I know
Dude, they're awesome, man. I yeah, Jose and Frida, man, they're just such good people. I just went to their she wasn't able to make it, but I did go to their Vibe and Thrive. They're doing it monthly. From what I know. I think you went to
the first one.
the first one, yeah. So I just went to this last one. I don't know if that was the second or third.
It was the second one.
Oh, it was the second? Okay. So I didn't miss too much. But I was like, oh, I really want to make it. And her office is like 5 minutes from my office. I was like, dude, you're right down the street. And so it was a good time, man. It's just again another positive space created by some wonderful people in the community that more people need to know about, you know. And so I was able to come back and share some of the value with her, and so she's going to make sure that she's at the next one. But dude, just all these phenomenal people creating these spaces and serving the community and expecting nothing in return. Like absolutely nothing. Like Frida and Jose, they just wanted people to come and have a space to grow and get better. It's amazing, you know, that there's wonderful people out here doing these things, and we get to be friends with them. So it's amazing. So we get to be on a podcast with them tomorrow.
That's what's up. You're getting great speakers.
Yeah.
Great, guests. I mean,
yeah.
You know, from Eric Serrano, and now Frida, Jose, phenomenal people.
Yeah.
Like
more to come.
Tony from
yeah. Yeah. For sure. So
I can't wait to see where God's gonna take you guys next. Just be consistent, you know, be persistent. At the end of the day, that's what that's all about, right? Being persistent, be consistent, one step at a time.
Yeah.
I know we're starting as part of that journey. Probably not easy. It's probably a lot of time consuming as well. Some hiccups, like right now with, providing by being here live through Zoom. But it's all part of the journey. It's all part of the process.
All of it, yeah. Yeah. And we enjoy the whole process. So that's what it's all about. Yeah. It's all about the journey and being able to enjoy it. But yeah, man, thank you so much. We really appreciate you taking the time to be on our podcast and have a conversation with us. I think that there was a lot of value provided through this. So we really appreciate it, man.
Likewise, brother. I enjoy being in this space. I enjoy just speaking with you. We're connecting again virtually. Hopefully we could do so in person.
Yeah.
I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, for sure. You're going to be at church on Sunday?
Yeah, I will be there.
Which service? All right, cool. We'll see you there then. Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, thank you, everybody who is watching. Thanks for chiming into Christian and Crystal, and Panchito for being our guest. And we'll see you guys on the next episode.
Yeah, take care.
Have a good night, brother. Thank you so much, okay?
Night, guys.